Good morning, Bulldogs. Today we are going to start our drama unit. And with that comes the notes, similar to what we did through fiction. And we are going to work through them. So you should have found some notes. They should have looked like this. And let's dig into this. And then we are actually going to be starting our drama today. I don't know how much of that we're going to get finished, but we're just going to give it a shot. So let's start with dramatic forms. What is drama? We need to know the different types of dramatic forms. So we talked about fiction could be fantasy, mystery, short story. Well, a drama can have different forms as well. First, you have a play. This is a type of drama written for the stage. So when you think of a play, you're probably thinking Shakespeare, okay, and that would work. The playwright includes the details about the props, sets, and how the actors should move on stage. The playwright is like the author. So when he is or she is describing the props and the sets and how the actors should move, it might have in parentheses before the line, which we're going to go over all of those, walking quickly towards the door. We don't actually say that. That's just what the actor should do as they say their line. Okay. Unlike a piece of fiction, a written script is not the final work. Okay? The director and the actor use the script to kind of improvise a little bit and make the story on stage come to life. Okay? Dramas do not have to be performed on stage. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're made into movies, sometimes it is just a written work. Screenplays and television scripts are dramas. They are written to be acted out on film and later they're shown to an audience on screen. So they do not have to be acted out for a live audience. Okay. Let's see. Screenplays and television scripts, those are going to have your sets, they're going to have your props, they're going to have what are called stage directions. They're going to have dialogue, which we learned last unit. Dialogue is who's saying what to each other. And anything else the actor might need to know to make the story really come out, really come to life and enjoyable for everybody. Okay? All right, as we move on, what is drama? Those are the types of drama, but now we need to know what is it. Okay? It's just a story often written to be performed by actors. Does it have to be? No, it just usually is. A drama is meant to be performed. However, you can read the script or the written version, and you as the audience can imagine what is happening. The drama is well written. You're going to see the drama played out in your mind. Okay? Dramas use that plot diagram that we've seen before to tell the story. Okay? So, we're not going to get into the elements today. If you could turn your pages just a little bit. I know we're bouncing around a little bit. I want you to turn to almost the last page where you have drama versus fiction. We're going to see the differences between what we read last week and what we're going to read this week. Okay, so, and you see a lot of this is kind of a reminder, a refresher course, because a lot of it is the same with just a few key differences. Okay, oh, we're almost there. We're almost there. Okay, so this week we are starting drama. Last week we did fiction. So why can't we just group those together? Because they're very similar. They're both going to have a plot that you could use a plot diagram to illustrate. They're both going to have characters that they both might have dialogue, characters talking to each other. They're both going to have a setting, but there are some key differences as well. Okay, playwrights, that's the author of the drama, they have more challenges than a fiction author might. A typical play lasts a few hours. All the action has to take place during that couple of hours, or you're going to leave the audience hanging, and we don't like cliffhangers. So a playwright has to make sure the whole story is wrapped up in those 2 hours or so. Okay, so if any of you have read the Twilight books, the Harry Potter books, the Hunger Games books, did it take you more than 2 hours to read those books? Now, as a playwright, they've got to get all that action into those 2 hours. Okay. Playwrights, they're always conscious of time. You know, hey, how much time do I have? How much time have we been acting? They also have to think, what size are they working with as far as stage goes? Because their dramas take part on a stage. Well, but if we're not talking about a play that's acted out, we're talking about maybe TV or a movie. What's their set? How much space do they have? Okay. Also, when you are reading dramas and you're seeing them, the playwright has to take into account, what can the audience really follow, or what are they going to understand? Because when you're in the middle of a play, can you say, oh, excuse me, director, can you back up and replay that part because I missed it, for understanding? No. If you're reading a fiction book, you can just reread a few pages. So those are some key differences that we need to stay aware of. Okay. Okay, so some of the elements that we talked about in fiction are going to come back up during our drama unit. And we definitely need to be aware of how they are different. Okay, so in fiction stories, the dialogue is actually incorporated into the story. So for example, Mary was walking through the school door and she bumped into the principal. She asked, "Has the tardy bell rang yet?" A play is going to have it on the other hand, where it's going to say, Mary, walking into the school, in parentheses, ask, excuse me, Mr. Clark, has the tardy bell gone off? Okay, so the drama, the entire story is dialogue. We don't have any narration going on. Okay, so here is an example of the differences. On the left, we have a piece of fiction. It's got a lot of words to it, but a lot of that is description. On the right, it's just the words that the actors are saying. Okay. So why are dramas written? We talked about fiction. Fiction is written to entertain. Why is drama written? To entertain you. It could teach you about life experiences. And it could help viewers learn about themselves. That's where we're going to get into the different types of drama. And you could learn how to be sympathetic. And it could be just to allow the viewer, the audience, to explore the world around them in kind of an enclosed space. Okay? Okay. Let's see. Okay, sorry about that. We are also going to be getting into our figurative language again. So first, this week, we're also going to keep reading A Christmas Carol. Well, we just read that, so why are we reading it again? Because we're going to read the drama version of A Christmas Carol, and we're going to see some of the differences with the elements. So before we can get into that, we need to look at the types of figurative language that we're going to see in the drama. So this is where we're just going to speed through it because you already have the notes for some of these parts of figurative language. Okay, so what is figurative language? Okay, it's the language that uses words or expressions that is different than what it actually says. So you are my sunshine. Are you actually the sun? No. Taken literally, you are. But what does that really mean? Okay, so they have hidden meanings in some of these figurative languages. They are filled with exaggerations, comparisons, or alterations just to make a point. Okay. And we are going to, as we read through the drama, we're going to identify some of them as examples and we're going to explore them. Okay. So, what are the types of figurative language? Well, we're going to go over metaphors, which we already know what those are. We know what similes are. We've gone over personification. Symbolism is the new one that we are going to be digging into, and that's going to be fun for us, okay? Because it is endless. You can kind of go anywhere you want with it. Hyperbole, also new for us this year. You may have worked with it in the past, but now we're going to be digging a little deeper. And we have idioms. Those are also going to be kind of fun, okay? So let's scroll through these and see if we can't get a meaning for these words. All right, so what is a metaphor? Metaphors are your figures of speech that describe an object or an action in a way that isn't literally true. Literally means isn't really true, but it's going to help explain an idea or a comparison. Okay? It does not does not use like or as. So if it's raining cats and dogs, is it really, if I look out the window, do I see cats and dogs? No, but it's raining cats and dogs mean it's raining really hard, really fast, okay? Simile compares two things using like or as. We learned that back in first, second grade. Example, my soup was as cold as ice. So how cold is my soup? Feels like ice. Personification, we went over this when we read Peter Pan and Treasure Island. It's a figure of speech that's going to give your animals or your inanimate objects, your not living objects, human-like characteristics. So how can it do that? The flame of the candle danced in the night. Can a flame actually dance? No, but we're saying it can. Okay. Symbolism. This is one where we're going to have some fun with this during this unit. Okay, so I want to make sure everyone gets these notes down. Symbolism uses symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meaning that is different from what they really are. Okay. Symbols can change their meaning depending on how they are used. Okay, and we're going to see some of those too. Just because something is a symbol in this story, meaning this, doesn't mean it can't mean something else with another story. So, for example, a chain. It literally means something to fasten or secure something together. However, in the story, as you guys remember from the novel, the chains means it represents the wrongdoings in someone's life. They're like being chained down. So that is symbolic, okay? Then we have hyperboles. Hyperboles. Hyperbole is an exaggeration, and it's used for dramatic effect. Okay? So an example, if I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. Now, do you think that's really what he thinks? No, that's an exaggeration from Scrooge to get his point across that, no, let's get back to business. You know, Merry Christmas, no, get rid of it. Okay, so we're going to see some of those exaggerations as well during our drama unit. Then we have our idiom. An idiom is an expression that cannot be understood from the meanings of its separate words, but you have to learn it as a whole, if that makes any sense. Okay, so look at this example. I ought to give him a piece of my mind. Well, can you understand what that means by looking at the word mind or piece or give? No. But if I ought to give him a piece of my mind, you know what that means. I should tell him exactly what I think. Okay, you have to take it as the whole and figure out what it means. Okay, all right. We have already talked about Charles Dickens. We are going to get some notes written down for him. And then we're actually going to be talking about the author of we're going to be talking about the playwright for the play, A Christmas Carol. They're two different things. Okay, so the life of Charles Dickens. This is the last section of your notes. So Charles Dickens was born February 7th, 1812 in Portsmouth, United Kingdom. Where's United Kingdom? It's over in Europe. It's when you hear United Kingdom, it's usually referred to as England. When he was 12, his dad went to prison, causing Charles to quit school and go to work in a factory. That's why that kind of showed the poor working conditions for Bob Cratchit. It was there that he learned about the rough factory conditions and how children were not protected. Okay. In 1836, he began writing fiction. In 1843, he wrote A Christmas Carol. In his career, he served as a journalist, actor, editor, and novelist. He married Catherine Hogarth, and they had 10 children together, but the marriage failed because Charles was just way too focused on his writing and he couldn't be there for the family. Okay. He dedicated his writing to the effects of social change. So what kind of social change did he want? He wanted factories to be safer, children to be protected. He died a bitter old man, June 9th, 1870. And to this day, he is considered one of the finest English storytellers and is a master of wit and social satire. Okay, so now that you have those notes, you are going to need them. You are going to need them, as I was mentioning, because as we work through our drama unit, we're going to find some elements in our drama that we're reading. There should be a link for A Christmas Carol, the play, It was written by Israel Horovitz. And in class, we are going to read through Act 1, hopefully the first 3 scenes. Okay. Now, I have uploaded an audio recording as well. Sometimes it can be difficult to read a drama to yourself because there's different parts. So if it's hard for you to keep those straight, listen to it. Okay. So I need those first 3 scenes read, and make sure you have your notes completed. Okay. The presentation that I just went through is going to be uploaded into the Drive on the notes page. So you should be able to get those finished. If you have any questions, send me a quick message and I will get some answers for you. Okay. Great. Have a good day.